Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. Those battling fires in the Northwest Territories say they're preparing for more difficult days ahead, as hot and dry conditions could increase fire behavior. While rain has helped maintain the fires nearing the city of Yellowknife, the main concern is now in the southern region. Crews are focused on the Fort Smith area. The wildfire is just 4 kilometers away from the community. The town of 2,500 people has declared a state of emergency. Fort Smith remains under an evacuation order, along with the Hay River area, including the N.W.T First Nation. Fire Information Officer Mike Westwick said in last night's update that weather conditions in the southern regions are not expected to improve over the next 2 days.
On the ground, we've seen fire burning so deep through the root systems that trees appear effectively suspended above the ground. And that kind of deep burning is driven by the severe drought in the area, and it's emblematic of the severe conditions which have caused these fires to be so challenging to fight.
Currently, 7 out of 10 people who live in the Northwest Territories are now evacuated. That's almost 30,000 people. To Edmonton now, where the food bank is asking for donations of food and money, as well as volunteers, after a record number of people have started using their services. APTN's Chris Stewart has more on this troubling trend.
Workers and volunteers here at Edmonton's Food Bank warehouse are putting together food and essential item hampers for the lineup of people waiting outside. The people today won't be getting some important items though. Many shelves are empty. Peanut butter, canned soup, pasta, diapers, and more. With food price inflation 8.5% higher in July than last year, according to Statistics Canada, higher prices for everything is forcing people to the food banks. Doug Thompson is a communications and media coordinator for Edmonton's Food Bank.
With the cost of living out there right now, everyone's feeling the squeeze. Our clients are not what people would stereotypically expect. They're your neighbors. They're your family members. It's everybody.
Thompson says before COVID, the food bank was giving out 22,000 hampers a month. Now it is 34,000 a month, an increase of 1/3. Donations are not keeping up with the new demand.
Everybody who can give, those people are still giving. And it matters that everybody is giving who can give, but maybe they're just giving a little less.
Essential items can't stay in stock, and they are asking for people to donate.
We can absolutely use canned soup. Mushroom and tomato are always appreciated and very versatile to make dishes with. Canned meals such as Chef Boyardee or alfaghetti, those are great. You will see in our children's area, diapers are always in need. That's something we're always very short on, formula as well. And we can always use granola bars to help kids when they're back in school with our snack program, which will be starting up again soon.
It's not just food banks. The mustard seed provides shelter, permanent housing, and essential items to those in need. They have seen a big increase in the need for their services.
Since I'd say about June, mid-June, to even a bit earlier, we saw the numbers ticking up. Around May, it was probably about 80%, 90% capacity, June 90, 95, and then throughout July and into August, we've seen at 100, or even we go over capacity because we don't want to turn people away.
Thompson says any donation, no matter their size, has a real impact.
Anything anyone can give, whether it's 1 can of tuna or 2 cans of soup, $5, $10, whatever you can give, absolutely now's the time to help out.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
Something played out in communities right across the country. To the James Smith Cree Nation now, where they gathered to give thanks almost a year after a mass stabbing shook the First Nation in Saskatchewan. Brent McGilvery brings us that story.
There's still a lot of hurt, a lot of pain yet. That will go on for a long time. But we need things like this happening. Getting together, it will slowly take the pain away from us.
After almost a year since tragedy hit James Smith Cree Nation, the whole community, including families of the 12 people killed in a mass stabbing, came out to celebrate their culture and heal. Elders and knowledge keepers want to pass on what they know to move forward in the community's journey towards healing.
Today we need a lot of healing. Getting together like this is a lot of thankfulness. Creator wants us to heal. Creator needs, especially our language, in prayers.
We have a lot of work to do in regards to healing and moving forward in a good way, in a healthy way. And these ceremonies and these gatherings that we have here are going to help those families to reach out and get some of that support they need in order to start living healthy again and start feeling the love and the joy of this world, because for the last year it's been very hard for everyone to smile because of what happened.
They're hurting on their own and they are trying to reach out. It'll take some time for them to adapt to that tragedy, and the ones that were also hurt outside I guess the extended families, those are the ones too that, you know, there's a lot of stories, horrific stories out there, and yet there's a lot of resilience out there that they're balancing themselves to move forward.
There's healers here. This is what even our young people need to learn, how to talk and bring out what they still have in them that they don't want to let go. As you see, letting go of what's hurting you can bring you back. Without pain, without hurt, you will change.
On September 4th last year, the nation was gripped by a spree that left 12 people, including Miles and Damian Sanderson, dead. James Smith Cree Nation leadership has visited numerous First Nations that have their own self-administered policing with a goal to implement their own. In the last few months, 28 members from James Smith have stepped up and have been trained in helping keep the community safe.
We had visited numerous First Nations that do have their First Nations policing, but it's just waiting there at the federal government in regards to approval. And I think sitting on the National Board of Policing, I think, me moving the whole initiative forward in regards to the whole transformation of self-administered policing. So that's one of the key elements here with our goal is to have our own policing. So I think dealing with that, it's the next step forward.
Brent McGillivray, APTN National News, James Smith Cree Nation.
To Winnipeg now, where the Bear Clan Patrol is going through some upheaval. The Volunteer Community Solutions Group's chair stepped down on Monday. Interim Treasurer and Secretary Jonathan Drozdowski confirmed in an email to APTN that Chair Linda Campbell is no longer with the group. Quote, I can confirm that board changes have recently occurred. However, we are not prepared to comment on these changes at this time. The move comes as Winnipeg Police Sergeant Brian Krupolo left the board after criticism arose around his serving of an injunction at the Brady landfill blockade in late July. He declined an interview. People manning the camps are calling for searches to be done for the remains of Indigenous women. Searching the landfill has been deemed feasible but could take years and cost more than $180 million. The Manitoba government won't support a search for the remains, citing hazards to searchers with no guarantee remains will be found. A new Bear Clan board will be elected on September 25th. Concerns about the declining moose population in parts of Quebec is the focus of a recent benefit concert. That story and more after the break. Welcome back. Dozens of people came to the Saw Gallery in downtown Ottawa recently for a benefit concert in support of the Anishinaabe Moose Committee, a First Nations-led organization working to prevent a declining moose population in Western Quebec. APTN's Fraser Needham has more.
I live on a reservation, and I am part of the Algonquin Nation. total of 8 performers took part in the benefit concert, and this included N.W.T. Shabbat, who sang the Moose song. She says Shannon Chief, a member of the Anishinaabe Moose Committee, is a big mentor.
And she pulled me into this work, and I started doing what I could as an activist in the Ottawa area, as an Algonquin member, as a community member, so just doing my part. And since then, you know, the responsibility just gets bigger and bigger, and you realize that, you know, your family has carried this responsibility, and it's really eye-opening to be able to be here.
For her part, Chief says a stable moose population is critical to First Nations people living in the La Vérendrye Wildlife Park area near Val-d'Or, Quebec.
Our people rely a lot on the traditional foods on the territory. That means the moose, the beaver, the bear, and all these things that we eat on the territory, because where we live, we are very secluded. We're like an hour or 2 hours away in both directions, you know, east and west of the next towns, and we don't really have like a lot of people that have jobs, you know, and a lot of them are on social assistance and things like that. So those that are like on social assistance, they're the ones that have to rely a lot on the traditional foods on the territory. So that it's a big deal.
The 2022 report says sport hunting, logging, and climate change are some of the reasons behind the rapid decline in the area moose population in the last 10 years. As a result of the low numbers, there has been a moratorium on moose hunting since 2020. Nancy Shui is with Climate Justice Ottawa, one of the organizers of the event. She says the group wants to do what it can to help the Anishinaabe Moose Committee.
As a Climate Justice Ottawa, the organization, we really emphasize being, you know, an intersectional approach to climate change, to environmental protection. Indigenous solidarity is, you know, like a pillar of, you know, what we aspire to support and to do.
She says they plan to use funds raised from the benefit for the local moose education camps this fall.
So this concert benefit is to kind of like just raise some funds so that we can have that time in this fall to be able to be out on the territory to teach our young ones and families and all the young hunters so that they understand, you know, the responsibilities we have with the moose.
Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
This time of year has its own name in the Atikamekw Nation. Neepin, the season to harvest corn and blueberries. But drought and the forest fires that followed are impacting blueberry season in a way never seen before. Here's the story from Shushan Bakhong, translated and read by Lindsay Richardson.
The evidence of climate change in Canada is becoming more and more obvious. Devastation caused by recent wildfires is widespread across Indigenous territory. However, looking closer, even the smallest of species are affected by these changes as well.
On le voit, gars. On le voit, il n'est pas...
Parce que c'est bleu, ou c'est rempli, là. Ta talle est remplie ici, là.
Habituellement, c'est... À ce temps-ci, il devrait commencer à avoir les bleuets bleus, là, il n'y en a plus.
APTN met William Awashish on his hunting territory in late July, 20 minutes from the Atikamekw community of Abidjawan in Quebec. Awashish is a blueberry lover, but this harvest season has been rough.
Ici, dans mon coin, là, juste l'autre bord qu'on voit, là, ça a été bûché il y a quelques années. À chaque année, je ramasse les temps de bleuets à la main pour l'hiver. Là, avec la sécheresse qu'on a eue, j'ai retourné, il ne fait pas si longtemps, la semaine dernière, on est allé voir ça. Il n'y a pas un bleuet, tout séché. C'est là qu'on voit la nature. Hein. La sécheresse, ça détruit tout.
An early summer drought caused by climate change caused forest fires to propagate, charring several thousand hectares in Quebec, including large swathes of the Atikamekw territory known as the Nitaskinan. Awashish says the unusual situation has affected the flowering period for the blueberries.
Nous, à chaque année, c'est le mois de bleuets, c'est dans le mois d'août. C'est là que nous, on commence la cueillette des bleuets. Et cette année, j'ai remarqué qu'avec la sécheresse, ici, on avait le bleuet. Là, il n'est plus. Tu vois qu'ils sont petits. C'est comme si on brûlait. Ils ont séché par rapport à la sécheresse qu'on a eue.
The blueberry is important in Atikamekw culture. For generations, August was harvest time for the 3 Atikamekw communities in Quebec. But this year, the much-beloved little blue fruits are almost completely absent.
D'après ce que j'ai osé avec d'autres gens de la communauté dans leur territoire qui ont allé voir, puis ils ont dit, ils ont séché. Puis cette année, ils ont dit qu'il n'y aura pas de bleu.
Unfortunately, blueberry supplies will be minimal this winter, an adjustment for William Awashish, so used to the abundance and rewards of this season. A story by Shashan Bacon, APTN National News, Abidjan, Quebec.
Still to come, we'll continue our series on the history of the jingle dress. Stick around. Welcome back. Time now to take a look at our photo of the day. This from the Gitxsan Nation. Clarence Jones shares with us the photo of the setting sun over the mountains, taken a few evenings ago. Beautiful picture, Clarence. Be sure to send us your photos to share@aptn.ca to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at Wednesday's weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, sunny and 22 for Halifax, partly cloudy and 20 in Charlottetown. Cloudy and 12 for Kuujjuaq, rain in Nain and a high of 14. 26 in Montreal, showers and 22 for Chibougamau. 19 with rain in Sault Ste. Marie, rain and 20 in North Bay. 18 with rain in Thunder Bay, showers and 20 in Sioux Lookout. Cloudy and 21 in God's Lake, 21 with showers in Norway House. Cloudy and 24 for Winnipeg, rain and 23 in Dauphin. Rain and 26 for Regina, cloudy and 21 for Saskatoon. 22 in Meadow Lake, cloudy and 20 in La Ronge. In northern Alberta, 25 for High Level, rain and 15 in Grand Prairie. 18 with showers in Edmonton, rain and 22 for Lethbridge. Showers and 19 for Vancouver, 16 with rain in Kamloops, 25 with rain in Prince George, 24 and rain in Smithers. 17 with showers in Old Crow, 25 in Whitehorse. Sunny and 20 in Yellowknife, 22 in Norman Wells. Showers and a high of 7 for Sax Harbor, 14 with rain in Paulatuck. 17 with rain in Whale Cove, 19 in Arviette. Plus 3 with snow in Resolute, 8 in Igloo Lake. Some education news now, as the First Nations University of Canada is taking its communications program online. It's aimed at grassroots people and can be done remotely. Registration is now open for the new online Indigenous Journalism and Communication program that will start this fall. A 6-week in-person summer institute will take place in Regina in May and June. The 6 weeks of training will prepare them for work in broadcasting and public relations. The program is designed for people who are already doing similar work in their communities.
INCA has been around for almost 40 years. And it's basically a 2-year diploma program, pre-journalism. We've been feeding into the School of Journalism for many, many years. And really it was over the pandemic that we realized that there was an opportunity to work more grassroots and more with Indigenous radio stations particularly, and Indigenous communicators who work in small communities. And so we developed a program called the Indigenous Journalism and Communication Program. And so it combines both broadcast journalism and communications or public relations.
Jingle dresses are seen at powwows across Turtle Island, but they all started with Maggie White. She lived in the Niatkam-Magwining First Nation near Kenora, Ontario. We're now continuing our series on the jingle dress with Maggie White's granddaughter, who explains how her dress and dance came from a dream.
Granddaughter to Maggie White, Rhonda White, holds up a jingle dress of her late Kokums. A teacher in the community, she shares the oral history of her family's vision of creating the dress from a dream.
The one that she received when she was about 6 or 7. And she went through what is called a Ogimagamig, kind of like a healing lodge. She was sickly growing up. And her grandfather, Panasi Shinkaza, was his name. Growing up, he would have these visions, but he didn't know what they meant until, well, he was an old man. And with the jingle dress, with this dress that he made, it was made specifically for her.
During the time of Indian agents and the limitations of leaving the reserve, Maggie Bird was born in Kenora, Rat Portage on December 15, 1922. The same year, Indian Affairs Chief Medical Officer Dr. Peter Henderson Bryce published the story of a national crime, an appeal for justice to the Indians of Canada, which exposed the horrifying death toll among children in residential schools.
When you're going through a healing ceremony and you're given a gift to honor that, she was told to wear this dress when she put it on to start dancing, and the more she danced in that dress in the healing lodge, she started getting better. And after the healing ceremony, she just always danced in that dress. No matter where she was dancing at, she would always wear that jingle dress. This is the dress that she was, it's not the exact, but a replica of the dress that she was given. We traveled around powwows for as long as I could remember, as long as I could walk. One of the things that I always remember is her dancing the jingle dress. Always dancing the jingle dress, no matter what powwow we went to. That's where we started hearing the term, the First Lady of Jingle, because she was always the one out at those powwows, no one else wearing the jingle dress.
She describes the difference of drum beats and footwork from the jingle dancing they were showcasing.
One of the things that I remember hearing from my parents, even the Whitefish Bay singers, there's such a connection between the drums, the singing styles, and the jingle dress, and it's very localized in the area, that it's very distinctive. It's a different beat compared to fancy or grass.
We will have more on this Jingle Dress series tomorrow and right through the rest of the week. Well, that is all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Tuesday. For news anytime, visit our website, aptnnews.ca. You can also catch up on anything you may have missed here by visiting the APTN News YouTube page. I'm Dennis Ward Marcy. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night.